D-Day -1, the night before D-Day, 5th of June, 1944. There's precious little time before the dawn to get to the beaches, locate and dispose of the deadly German mines hidden beneath the waves. It's just hours before the largest invading armada in history makes its stand against the world's most powerful military, the Nazi war machine. The Germans are dug in on their turf, ready to annihilate everything in sight. If those mines aren't swept away, Allied destroyers will likely end up at the bottom of the channel. The invasion would fail, leaving thousands of Allies dead. With fewer Allied destroyers, there would be more German gunfire and more Americans dead. 11 small minesweepers, including the USS Tide, were alone on a top-secret mission to sweep near the beaches for German mines to protect Allied destroyers off the coast of Normandy. Even the Navy brass who ordered it believes the minesweepers are on a suicide mission. All it would take is one U-boat, a Luftwaffe bomber, or a German E-boat to spot them, and it's all over. The Fate of the USS Tide. The Forgotten Sailors of D-Day is the only book to cover the entire history of the USS Tide. The Tide crew already had encounters with the Germans several times. The odds were mounting against them. They felt it in the soul. You can only test fate so far. 6th of June, 1944. The crew witnessed the incredible courage of the soldiers and carnage on Omaha and Utah beaches. June 7th, Utah Beach. All is quiet. Bodies and debris float by as the crew wondered why they were spared. 18 interviews with surviving crew describe their remarkable survival of D-Day.
When the mine hit, I went overboard up in the air and fell behind the ship. No one could get to the boxes loaded with life jackets, but I found debris and crawled onto it. Worse yet, I didn't know how to swim. Jim Gardner.
When the ship got hit, all I remember was being blown up into the air. I came down on the ship's deck. Joe Sano.
When we hit the mine, it lifted an 11-ton minesweeper 5 feet out of the water. Jack Burris.
From where I had been sitting to where I was when I regained consciousness on the fantail, it was about 30 feet, and I went 20 feet up in the air. Bill Brandstrader.
A terrific boom came through the ship, and I saw many men die. I saw water coming up, and I was trapped in between the floorboard and the ship. Stan Catherwood.
The USS Tide was nearly destroyed by the Luftwaffe during the destruction of the civilian English coastal town of Torquay, England. The Tide was in the middle of the surprise German attack at Slapton Sands Exercise Tiger, training for the Utah beach landing. Never expecting the Germans to know their location, over 700 were killed in action. The event was covered up by the U.S. government for 50 years. The book includes the crew's post-war history and the reunion's efforts to keep the memory of the ship alive. For the Navy and the ship's crew, the discovery of the wreck 50 years later that was once the USS Tide was a major historical event. The Fate of the USS Tide, The Forgotten Sailors of D-Day, available on Amazon.com.